News now at this hour begins in West Africa. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Saturday commissioned a completed 30-kilometer stretch of Phase 1 section of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, a massive infrastructure project expected to eventually cover 750 kilometers along Nigeria's southern coastline. The event took place at Kilometer 8 near the Jakande State Axis in Lagos State, where the president hailed the highway as a transformative initiative aimed at driving inclusive development and long-term economic growth. The coastal highway, seen as a flagship of Tinubu's administration, is expected to enhance connectivity, support trade, and unlock new investment opportunities across multiple states. As construction continues, the government says the project will serve as a backbone for regional integration and economic expansion in Nigeria's coastal corridor.
It is a great honor for me and pride to have this sense of fulfillment standing before you to commission the completed part of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway corridor. This is Phase 1 section of Ahmadu Bello Way, 700 kilometer iconic project spanning the coastal areas of Ogun, Ondo, Delta, Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross Rivers states. As we celebrate today, let us reflect on our collective responsibility to preserve infrastructure. The government can build roads, but this is left for us, citizens, to maintain. The motorists and residents alike are hereby encouraged to utilize this opportunity very effectively and well. I thank people of Lagos for supporting this project that will positively affect the lives of our people.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu is urging Nigerians to remain patient as his administration pushes forward with key infrastructure projects and economic forums. Now, the president made the appeal during the commissioning of a major section of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Speaking at the inauguration of Phase 1, Section 1 of the 750-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, President Bola Tinubu acknowledged the ongoing economic hardships facing many Nigerians, but assured the public that better days lie ahead. President Tinubu emphasized that his administration is working to reduce the cost of manufacturing and boost local production, with incentives in place to encourage compliance with economic reforms.
I know at this stage the expectation is still very high, and our Nigerian people are still going through difficult times. I take this opportunity to appeal to all Nigerians that the hope is here and is realizable. That the benefit will be part, you will be part of the benefit. The economy is recovering. There is light at the end of the tunnel now. Inflation is stepping down. The exchange rate is stabilized. The corruption in the exchange rate is eliminated. The corruption in fuel subsidy is limited to BRS minimum. It is your money. It is your opportunity. It is your children that must go to school, must go through the higher education. We are paying for all of that. Look at the infrastructure going on in various teaching hospitals and several thousands of health centers. It's all about you. It's all for you, the people. We are reducing the cost of manufactured drugs. We are encouraging manufacturing locally. We give all incentives for everyone to abide by the principle of Nigerian first.
Let's also tell you that the former governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, has commended President Bola Tinubu for a strategic partnership with some members of the Nigeria's opposition party in his bid to deliver the dividends of democracy to citizens. Ortom, while in company of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, made this known during the inspection of the Kubo and Mabushi bus and taxi terminals, calling on residents of the capital to support the president. Also, the FCT minister gave assurance to residents saying that the FCTA will initiate reforms in the transportation sector to improve security situation within the capital. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, here reports.
It was an inspection of ongoing construction works at the bus terminus in Kugbo and Mabushi areas of Abuja. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory was accompanied by the former governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. Ortom commended the president for the partnership with several opposition party members, including the Minister of the FCT, saying he needs all hands on board to succeed in his endeavor.
Mr. President is looking beyond party affiliation. That is why he brought my friend and leader, Minister Nyesom Wike, to be Minister of Federal Capital Territory, despite the fact that he won the election on the platform of APC. This is strategic partnership. And all of us, because if we don't have a country, we cannot in any way have a nation to have position.
He expressed delight at the standard of work seen on ground, commending the Minister of the FCT for a job well done. Also, the minister expressed concern at the state of infrastructure before the current administration, commending the contractors for the work done and emphasizing that Nigerians deserve better.
I've gone round. I've seen Kubo, I've seen Mabushi bus terminal. This is what we see abroad for decades. We have not seen this in Nigeria. We are seeing this today in Abuja, our own country, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It's unfortunate for a country like this, a Federal Capital Territory, like what my friend said, the former governor of Benue State, that we cannot have such a thing. But we want to find all over the world. And you ask yourself every time we travel out, and it's another look, we should be able to have. So some people, critics, will say what is wrong with that they want to build a motor park. you see how we deteriorate.
He says that the FCT is coming up with an effective transport policy to initiate reforms in the transportation sector so as to improve security within the capital.
Before we get to even commission, we will come up with our transport sector reforms because we have said as part of security measures, we must know who are those who are involved in doing their taxi business and what color, so that if anything happens, we'll be able to identify. So just be assured that we are doing everything possible. We will do it, and this time around we are working on to see that we don't have a lot of parks on the road.
The terminals are expected to be commissioned in June as part of President Bola Tinubu's second year anniversary. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Now to a tragic story out of Kano State, where members of Team Kano have been involved in a fatal road accident just days after competing at the 22nd National Sports Festival. At least 21 athletes from Team Kano have lost their lives in a devastating bus crash. The fatal accident occurred on Saturday on the Dakatasile Bridge, located in Kura local government area of Kano State. The team was returning home from Abeokuta, Ogun State, where they had proudly represented Kano at the recently concluded National Sports Festival. According to Chairman of the Kano State Sports Commission, Umar Fage, The bus was carrying 30 passengers when it veered off the bridge. 19 athletes died at the scene. 2 others later died from injuries sustained in the crash, while several more remain hospitalized. Eyewitness Jafaru Audu, speaking to News Central, said one of the survivors alleged that the driver may have fallen asleep at the wheel, leading to the tragic loss of life.
ta hau ta kan gadan nan shikenan sai ta fado yawwa ni lokacin nan ina can tsallake kurin na ga faduwar ta nan kowa ya daidai wallahi da muka zo gurin muka ɗibi mutane muka tattara su guri ɗaya kuma gaskiya ba mu yau mun ciro mutum 15 yawwa masu wanda suka mutu an tafi hanya mutum 3 sun sake mutuwa yawwa to yanzu kuma bayan an tafi asibitin sun sake gaya mana mutum 3 sun sake mutuwa.
Mu dai muna cikin tafiya a mota, to bayan mun to haka kawai Allah ya afko wannan mota kawai ke cefe ta zo ta hau kan wannan gada ta hwado haka. To daga haka bayan da haka muna gurin mu muka fara fito da wannan mutane, to daga ciki wani ina da rai har ya gaya mana bacci ne ya ɗebi wannan bawan Allah. Bayan bacci ya ɗebe shi ina cikin tafiya magagi kawai zo ya afko. To a haka mun fito da mutane matattu ma mun fito da kaman guda 20 da kusan ɗaya ma wanda suka rasu. Kuma bayan da haka an sake gaya mana cewa mutum 3 sun rasu a asibiti tukuna, ban da marasa lafiyar da muka dingi zubawa a mota muna kaiwa. Da farko mun kai wasu asibitin Kura, to daga nan kuma an sake yi musu abin rata an huce da su Kano asibitin Murtala.
In the meantime, the Kano State government has declared Monday, June 2nd, 2025, a public holiday to honor and mourn the 22 young athletes, coaches, and officials who lost their lives in the tragic auto crash. Governor Abba Yusuf, currently on pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia for the 2025 Hajj, described the incident as a dark moment for Kano. In a statement issued on Saturday and signed by his spokesperson, Sanusi Tofa, the governor expressed his deep sorrow and extended heartfelt condolence to the bereaved families and the entire sports community. Governor Yusuf urged residents to remain calm and united during this time of grief, assuring that the state government will provide full support to the families of the deceased and to survivors still receiving treatment. As the state prepares to honor the fallen heroes, condolences continue to pour in from across the country, with many describing the loss as a major blow to Nigerian sports. Now let's turn our attention to another developing tragedy in Niger State, where the death toll from a catastrophic flood continues to climb. Authorities now confirm over 150 lives lost and thousands displaced in Mokwa local government area of the state. According to state authorities, the disaster struck late Wednesday night, submerging homes and forcing over 3,000 residents to flee. Deputy Governor Yakubu Gaba confirmed the scale of devastation, describing the event as one of the deadliest in the state's recent history. So far, at least 44 victims were laid to rest on Friday, following the burial of 31 others recovered earlier. In a statement released Saturday, the Niger State Emergency Management Agency confirmed the rising casualty figure and added that 3 communities were affected. The flood also washed away 2 major bridges, cutting off access to surrounding areas. Authorities are urging residents in flood-prone areas to remain alert as the rainy season intensifies. Now let's go on a short break. There's more news coming your way. Back. Now, a terror attack continues to claim lives and destabilize communities in northern Nigeria. The Northern Christian Association of Nigeria has criticized the federal government's de-radicalization and reintegration initiative for former insurgents. The program, known as Operation Safe Corridor, was launched in 2015 with the goal of rehabilitating and reintegrating repentant terrorists through psychological support, vocational training, and also religious reorientation. Despite over 1,500 individuals reportedly passing through the program as of 2023 and more than 600 set for reintegration, the initiative remains highly controversial, especially in the wake of recent mass killings. Northern CAN chairman Reverend Joseph Hayab said the program has failed to deliver meaningful results. He questioned its effectiveness, pointing to a growing trust deficit between communities and security forces, which he says is hampering efforts to combat terrorism. He also accused the government of turning a blind eye to the suffering of communities devastated by insecurity, while prioritizing the reintegration of those who once contributed to the violence. A human rights lawyer has raised concerns that Nigeria may be returning to SARS-era policing, citing growing impunity by security agencies. Mike Kebonku, a human rights lawyer, issued the warning while addressing journalists in Abuja, pointing to a pattern of unlawful detentions and arbitrary arrests by the Police Intelligence Response Team, DIRT. He described the team's actions as Gestapo-like, policing reminiscent of the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, citing the case of Buba Mohammed, who he says has been held incommunicado by the IRT since March 17 without charge. The lawyer warns that security agents are becoming laws unto themselves. He stressed that he stressed that the continued abuse of power, especially against young Nigerians and dissenting voices, erodes public trust in law enforcement institutions.
Let us be clear on this. It is not only the police that is involved in unlawful arrest and detention of citizens. Virtually all security agencies in the country do it, and they do it with impunity. We have situations where young people, wear dress are on the street with laptop or fine phone, that's handset, are just apprehended because of the mere appearance, and you stigmatize them or generalize that they are Yahoo boys. You have situations where people are carried from different localities and they are brought to Abuja and kept incommunicado. They are extorted. They are sometimes forced or extract confessional statement from them, because if you are fed up or tired with torture, you can no longer take it. And we feel that these are not the way we should go.
In today's fast-changing workplace, one question is quietly dividing breaking rooms and also boardrooms. And it's, are Gen Z workers truly less resilient, or are they simply working smarter? And this special report, News Central's Oluwakemi Alimi, takes a critical look at the demographic generation, especially the individuals who grew up with the internet, smartphones, and social media, and their work ethics. Let's take a look.
They are digital natives, bold and outspoken, but they are also quitting faster, ghosting jobs more often, and demanding a different kind of work-life balance. Some say Gen Zs lack staying power, but others argue they are just rewriting the rules.
I would refer to them as people who are able to put to words, things that most are not able to. They are people who prioritize their mental health, they prioritize work-life balance, they prioritize finding purpose, fulfillment in the work that they do. And for millennials are people who I have seen that they just want stability, they want that consistency, just so that they're able to meet up with expectations maybe at home, and they're just able to pay their bills.
According to a 2023 survey by Indeed, 93% of Gen Z respondents admitted to skipping interviews, and nearly 90% accepted offers but never showed up. Still, this doesn't necessarily mean they are irresponsible. It may signal a deeper cultural shift.
I think environment is a key part of how much you can be productive and produce. So the more conducive your environment is, the more you have to give. And so I think a very welcoming environment would be the best to say as to workplace. And, you know, as a Gen Z, I would like to say that, you know, a happy place, you know, people full of life, to be honest.
As a Gen Z, I don't like stress, seriously. When I'm stressed, I tend not to concentrate at work. My coping mechanisms are, first off, I engage in conversations with my close pals at my workplace.
Generally, I prefer working remotely than going to the office. And I mean, there are a lot of reasons. So one of them is time spent in traffic. Working from home, there's just that freedom. So yeah, for me, I just generally prefer working from home, just to avoid things like office politics too. Like when you're at home, it's not as much as office politics in the office. Nobody's looking at, so, oh, what did this person get to work today? For me personally, because I work in tech, it means that a lot of the things I would have to do can be done online.
Where millennials saw work as a ladder to climb, Gen Zs view it as a lifestyle to design. Millennials adapted with the system, but Gen Zs are building new systems altogether, driven by purpose, mental wellness, and autonomy.
Organizations that would say Gen Zs are not relevant would basically be saying that in the probably next 10 years, they probably will be shutting office. The assessments, we say to companies, how do you define your strategy? Some companies say to us, strategy is defined top down, but Gen Zs are saying, and what we see as best practice is supposed to be bottom up, so that everyone feels part of the organization and can contribute to achieve those objectives.
So, is Gen Z less elastic, or are they simply stretching the idea of resilience in a new direction? The answer may lie in how well workplaces are willing to evolve. In Lagos, for News Central, Oluwakemi Alimi.
Now, Levi Obieze, a native of Indiago Nwamba in the Isiago community of Enugu State, was until last Thursday known simply as a traditional healer. That changed dramatically when authorities discovered several corpses buried in a pit at his country home. The gruesome find sent shockwaves across the nation, triggering an immediate manhunt. Obieze was apprehended by immigration officials at the Seme border while attempting to flee the country. In response, the Enugu state government has demolished Obieze's residence as part of a broader crackdown on suspected ritual killings and illegal activities linked to traditional practices. Our News Central's correspondent Chinwe Ogele joins us to speak more about this matter. Chinwe, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on the news this hour. Or at least I'm hoping that we have Chinwe. Unfortunately, we might not have her now, but we will bring you her input and her experience in gathering the report regarding Obieze's capture. So do stay with us. Any more news as heat temperatures rise across the globe, the impact of... I beg your pardon, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, I'll bring you that information. Now, as heat temperatures rise across the globe, the impact of climate change is being felt more accurately than ever. According to white-collar workers in urban cities, climate change is taking its toll on urban life, as many of them grapple to adjust to the changing weather realities. From extreme weather to changing conditions in the workplace, climate change is affecting the nature of labor, with its effect being felt across industries. Our News Central's correspondent Bettina Nweli reports here.
That labor productivity impacts have been significantly reduced because of the impact of climate change.
For years, scientists have warned that global warming will trigger extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and more frequent natural disasters. As these predictions have begun to unfold, workers are finding themselves grossly affected by these changing weather patterns. While in the past, much emphasis have been on rural communities, white-collar workers in urban cities are also having their day-to-day realities of work life being altered.
The weather presently right now is not funny. and it's not easy with talks. Based on the nature of the job I'm doing, you can see me. I was inside my car resting because of the weather was very, very harsh. So, and that was why I'm there. At least what I would advise the government to do, at least the government should plant a lot of trees around the vicinity and also the environment of Abuja as a whole, or in all over the country.
Across the globe, workers in agriculture, construction, and transportation are dealing with the new normal of extreme temperatures, flooding, and unpredictable weather conditions.
In Nigeria is an issue. For instance, if anything should happen, as far as, exposure to heat, being unable to come to work because of flooding should happen to any member of staff in Nigeria, working for government or for private sector. What is the response measure? How does recuperation looks like? How does, coming back to life looks like? It's always somebody having to just deal with this trauma all by himself. So we are not short of policies. What we are short of are people who are, disregarding the aspect of dialogue, having to also hear from the side of the policy beneficiaries how policies are supposed to be implemented.
In hotter climates, workers are facing higher risks of heat exhaustion and even heat stroke. As temperatures soar, experts are calling for better protection and new regulations that will keep them safe.
So tell us how the extreme weather has affected you as a person and the kind of work that you do.
Well, it has been very hot generally, more especially here in the north, because I know those are the south. They are, the weather condition there is very favorable or friendly, but those of us who are here in the north, they can tell you that the thing has been very harsh on us.
The heat alone is affecting me. Like this, my baby that I'm carrying on my back. Like my baby always, usually he used to enter bedroom, pouring water by himself. I don't know, like me particularly, like even with this pregnancy, in fact, I'm feeling it very hot. I don't sleep. Like at night, if there is no light, I can lie on the floor just because of the heat, because the thing is too bad.
You have to walk distance under the scorching sun, and sometimes, like you mentioned, the rain. So I believe if more public transportation means can be put in place to actually see that those areas that public transportation don't access right now can be accessible, I think it will go a long way in helping like the daily worker.
The weather is extremely harsh, except this rainy season that is approaching or have commenced. Before then, about 3 months ago, when you pick a passenger, they always complain that the inside the vehicle is harsh and that they ask if there is AC inside the vehicle. So those people who are not used to the harsh weather, they don't bother to board the vehicle without AC. With that one, it's affecting us in a way.
The fight against climate change is no longer just an environmental issue. It's an issue of social justice, workers' rights, and economic stability. With safety now at the core of workers' demands, it is clear that ensuring their protection has now become essential. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina Nweli.
Thousands of opposition supporters gathered in the Yopungun district of Abidjan on Saturday for the first rally organized by a newly formed 24-party opposition coalition. The demonstrators called for political dialogue and sweeping election reforms as the country prepares for its presidential election on October 25th. The protesters are demanding revisions to the electoral register and reforms to the Electoral Commission, particularly after authorities barred 4 prominent opposition candidates from running in the upcoming vote. With banners reading, "Exclusion is not victory" and "Temperament." Transparent, inclusive elections, the crowd rallied peacefully, accompanied by music, whistles, and vuvuzelas, creating a vibrant but determined atmosphere. Tensions remain high in the West African nation, still haunted by the memory of the 2010-2011 post-election crisis after that left some 3,000 people dead after former President Laurent Gbagbo refused to concede to current President Alassane Ouattara. And in South Africa, working together to end violence against children is this year's theme for Child Protection Week, observed from the 25th of May to the 1st of June. The week is commemorated in the country annually to raise awareness of the rights of children as articulated in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa and Children's Act. News Central's Bongani Sisiba looks at the rights of abandoned children and the need to protect them from harm.
In a world where innocent lives are often left vulnerable, there exists a beacon of hope, a safe haven for the tiniest among the living. This is the Baby Saver box. Here, when a mother feels she cannot take care of her child, she can simply open this box and place her baby inside. No judgment, no fear, just safety. The alarm immediately alerts trained care worker who responds without delay, and the identity of the mother remains unknown, ensuring her safety and privacy.
This started 1999 where Pastor Cheryl, she used to be a pastor at Baptist Church. She noticed that around this area there were a lot of babies that were being found abandoned. Some were dead from the dustbins and all that. And then she came with a plan to say, let's just I have something just to address this issue, where they installed this baby saver on the wall so that mothers they can just place their baby or abandon their babies safely.
This Baby Saver box has become a beacon of hope for vulnerable mothers and infants alike. Every child who comes through the door of hope is checked, documented and given the love they deserve. From here, they are blessed into a system designed to protect and nurture them.
So far, I saved 7 babies through a Baby Saver. And to me, it's important to help the kids because I love the kids and I love to give them love. People, they mustn't be scared to bring the babies if there is some challenges or some difficulties. Those kids, they're saving their lives. They're saving the baby's life. Because if they're bringing them here, it's better than to leave the child out there.
Across South Africa and the world, thousands of babies are abandoned each year. Many left in dustbins, open field, or toilets, desperate for a second chance. The Door of Hope offers a safe alternative to unsafe and tragic abandonment. But despite life-saving mission, challenges always arise.
Baby abandonment is almost an epidemic in South Africa. There are no formal stats that is held by Stats SA or the government, because a baby that is found abandoned, that has died, it is categorized under concealment of birth. So there are no actual stats about baby abandonment in South Africa.
But for those who wish to give these young ones a home and love, measures hinder adoption processes. According to Baby Saver South Africa, more than 10,000 babies are abandoned each year. Yet, there are concerns about the future of these life-saving organizations. However, the Department of Social Welfare advocates mothers to drop babies at police stations or health care centers, disputing some numbers reported by private organizations.
You give birth at hospitals, you can leave your child there. You can leave your child at any Department of Social Development offices across the country. You can leave your child at any police station, because even the police have their mandate on the Children's Act. They have their national instructions.
While challenges remain, the hope persists. Somewhere out there is a child awaits a safe, loving home, and most importantly, a second chance. In Johannesburg for News Central, Bongani Sisiba.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, more news coming your way to end it all. Now, Ella Onojuwewo clocked a season's best time of 50.99 seconds to win her 400-meter quarterfinal at the NCAA East Prelims, securing a place at the NCAA Championships in Oregon. A dominant performance placed her among the top contenders heading into the national finals. Fellow Nigerian athlete Onyia Faber also impressed, finishing her heat in 51.94 seconds to qualify for the championships as well. Both athletes will represent their schools and Nigeria in the highly competitive 400 meters event. Meanwhile, Esther Elo Joseph narrowly missed qualification after running a time of 52.01 seconds, falling just short of the off-cut. The upcoming NCAA championships promise intense competition, with Onojuwewo and Onyia aiming to make a strong impact on a national stage. And still in sports, chaos erupted in Paris after PSG's historic Champions League triumph, as nearly 300 people were arrested during wild celebrations across the city. Clashes broke out near the Champs Isles and Parc des Princes, where about 50,000 fans had gathered to watch PSG's 5-0 win over Inter Milan. Amid the celebrations, fireworks and flares were launched, vehicles were burned, and property was damaged. While most fans marked the occasion peacefully with songs and car horns, disorder escalated in certain areas. Around 5,400 people, or rather police officials, had been deployed in anticipation of unrest. Authorities said many of those detained were in possession of fireworks or involved in disturbances. Despite the incidents, the Eiffel Tower lit up in PSG's colors to mark the historic rite. And that's all this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories brought your way. President Tinubu urges calm among Nigerians amid economic strain. An amnesty program under fire as terror attacks surge in northern Nigeria. We also told you that opposition coalition in Côte d'Ivoire holds mass rally for electoral justice. I remember you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screens now. And do follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.